Hey, how you guys doing today? It's your boy Mike Fallon with another episode of Citizen Cinema. It's a little impromptu for this episode only. We'll go back to normal settings in the back next episode. Alright, so let's break down our stories for today. Donald Glover has joined the cast of Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, the reason why I'm a little iffy about this is that Donald Glover is the people's choice for playing Miles Morales. For those who don't know, to make it super simple, in the comics, there are 5 Spider-Men, period. Multiple Spider-Women. The main Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Then there is Miles Morales. He is a 13-year-old Puerto Rican, African-American male. And basically his uncle steals another spider from the Oz Corporation that bit Peter. Same type of spider. And then what happened is he got every power that Peter, plus 2 additional powers. He can do everything Spider-Man can. He can turn invisible and weaponize the electricity his body produces into his physical attack. Donald Glover was everybody's choice to replace Tony Maguire. They didn't go through. He was a choice again for this rendition of Spider-Man. Didn't go through. Since he couldn't be Spider-Man, Peter Parker, everybody wanted him to be Miles Morales. You know, if he is Miles Morales in this film, I'll be happy. Even though they'll age him up significantly by like 10 years, make him 23, 25, 10, 12 years. It's not so much Miles Morales' age, it's just the respect to the essence of the character. So some people are concerned that this will be Marvel's first big flop when it comes to casting a character. Not necessarily when it comes to story, that's different. That's Iron Man 3. But if everything goes well, if they do proper with it, I feel that they'll probably use him properly in the film. But me and everybody else who has a bias about this decision would rather it be Donald Glover making a small cameo as Miles Morales and set him up later, because Miles Morales will be the main Spider-Man in the 2018 Sony animated feature. But when it comes to live action, they're handling it quite different. Margo Robbie will be playing controversial figure skater Tanya Harding. Now, for those who don't know, Tanya Harding, back in the 90s, like around 94, she was the first female to pull off a triple axel spin when it came to competitions for figure skating professionally. Then an attempt was made on her being. 3 men attempted to break her legs. It was a big controversy. It was a failed attempt. It was later found out that her and her husband set up her getting her legs broken as a part of a conspiracy. People are upset about it. The league stripped her of all her titles. And really haven't heard nothing about it since. So this will be the biopic about that specific time in Tanya's life, being portrayed by Margo Robbie. I think Margo's going to do good. You know, she's a good actress. She's now getting time to flex her acting skill. So I really have no complaints about this. I'm really looking forward to it. Also, Marvel has required the rights back to SUB Namor. Now, what does this mean? Back in the 90s, to make it super simple for everybody watching, and so that way you're informed as well as I am, during the 90s, Marvel was financially vulnerable to the point where even, and I'm very serious when I say this is the actual fact, Michael Jackson was going to buy Marvel. It didn't go through. So Marvel instead ripped apart their live-action character rights catalog and split it between 9 studios. A majority of those studios, after making 1 or 2 Marvel films that didn't come to prominence, they went back to Marvel. Universal was one of the last ones. So about 3 weeks ago, SUB Namor came back to Marvel. SUB Namor was owned by Universal for the last 15, almost 20 years. And SUB Namor in the comics, he's like their version of Aquaman. And I think SUB Namor came first because he was a character back before Marvel was Marvel. Before Marvel was Marvel, they were called Timely Comics. He was one of the characters from Timely Comics, him and Human Torch. And then they were imported to Marvel. The character is a great character. He's an Avenger. He's very arrogant, but people love him anyways. Technically the first mutant in Marvel introduced. Basically his power set is he can communicate with sea life. All natural, because he's the king of Atlantis, all natural citizens of Atlantis and natives, indigenous people, are almost 7 feet tall and blue-skinned. His father was a human. His mother was the princess. She came to the earth. She came to the surface became pregnant after she fell in love with him, but she had to go back to fulfill her royal duties. And after that happened, she gave birth to SUB NAMOR. Basically, because of his human genetics mixed with his Atlantean genetics, he physically is 7 times stronger than any indigenous Atlantean. So, because of his biracial heritage, he had the genetic advantage over anybody that's Atlantean. And all Atlanteans have super strength. So, he's 7 times stronger than anybody. Was born with wings on his ankles, and it was made to pay homage to the Greek god, the Greek god of messages. And I forgot what the Greek god's name is. I'm slacking on my mythology, but because of that, he has the ability to fly. He has mild invulnerability, so he's not completely invulnerable, but he can take a beating. He stood up against Thor, Hulk, Sentry. Blue Marvel is one of his best friends. So that's the whole thing with SUB NAMOR, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with him if they could portray him properly. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching this episode of Citizen Cinema. Sorry, I had to take my hat off real quick. I had to go take care of something real quick. Came up in between shooting this. But yeah, you guys, thanks for watching the episode of Citizen Cinema. I'd appreciate it if you guys like, share, and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. All right, y'all take care. I'll see you next time. It's your boy Mike Fallon. Peace.